Hi, my name's Leo and I'm a boat builder and a sailor. A few years ago I bought a very old and quite famous wooden sailing boat for the price of $1, and since then I've been rebuilding that boat from the keel up with the help of a lot of amazing people. Well, that was the first time I've done that intro since Tally Ho has been launched, and it feels amazing. Behind me is the space where she was until very, very recently. So I just want to say a really quick thank you, huge thank you to everyone who supported us and helped get us here, and also to everyone who left such lovely, supportive comments and messages and so on the last video. It was really, really nice to see so much love and support from the community. And if you're waiting for a response from me, it might take a little while. My inbox is a horrible place right now, but I am working on it. So Tally Ho is afloat, but there's still a huge amount of work to do before we can go sailing this summer, which is the goal. And if we're going to achieve that goal, we have to keep working and keep trying to get things done. The very first thing we have to do is move the boat, because after launching we ended up on a very temporary berth. So we have to move the boat to a slightly less temporary berth where we can keep working on that. And that means that as long as the engine starts, I have to drive the boat. And that's kind of a terrifying prospect. I used to drive heavy boats quite a bit, but it's been a long time, so I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. Come on! Yeah, bud. That's it, Bob.
Yeah, well, I'm working together there.
That's nice. I like that. Look at this. Okay, so it's Sunday morning and we need to move off of this dock, which was only ever a temporary slip for us, so we're just going to start the engine and hopefully, if things go well, we're just going to motor around the corner into a berth just over there. Joe's been testing the engine, but this is the first time that I'm actually going to start it or see it running, so that's exciting. Start right up. Right behind that second white boat that we're looking at is us coming in from the other side of it. Yeah. Clear? On there. Fenders in. Fenders in. Nice prop walk. It feels pretty amazing to be driving this boat.
The boat that looked like it was never ever going to float again, and now you're sitting driving around the harbor. We're talking about turn radiuses.
Yeah. That's
pretty amazing.
I'm going to just come over to starboard, go astern towards the fuel dock, and then come back. Set up for port side. Want a nice roaming fender on the port quarter and starboard midships. Hi.
Leo, welcome to the neighborhood.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Hopefully I don't sink anything on the way in. Just let her drift back another couple of feet. Yeah, I didn't crack it. Great. Good job everyone as well, thanks. So Tally-ho is all tucked away in her new berth, and it felt absolutely crazy to be driving the boat. It felt amazing and surreal. It's funny that the boat, she doesn't feel like the same thing as the boat we were working on over there. It feels like a completely different object now. But anyway, it went pretty well. It went very well actually. It was really smooth, the engine ran perfectly. Joe had already been doing some testing, so we had a bit of faith in it. The wind was really calm earlier, so good conditions for a first drive, and we just did a little lap around the marina, and she handled really beautifully, and so just came in here and backed into the new berth and tied up, and here we are. It feels kind of reassuring to feel like I can kind of remember how to drive a heavy boat, and very happy and very excited for the next big steps, which will be to get the sails, start getting sails on the boat, and then eventually to do some proper sea trials and go outside the breakwater. But before we get any sails on, we've got a bit more work to do on getting the halyards set up. All right, so what do we got here, Bob, and what are you doing with it?
We got a couple of the rope strap blocks that we've made for Tally-ho. These are the throat halyard blocks, and they're pretty representative. They're both stropped with Spectra strops that are then served to give them a traditional look and feel, and also, you know, extend their life. And this one's stropped on a soft shackle, which you can open and attach to different things. And then this one is stropped with a long grommet. So it's like a long continuous loop that I made out of Spectra. And then on both of them, the blocks are seized very tightly into the strop, so they can't turn or shift, and the strop won't kind of stretch around the block when it's loaded up. You know, these would traditionally have been done either with a wire strop or with like a thicker rope strop, kind of put on in about the same way.
Great. And can you tell us just very briefly and simply what the purpose of throat halyard is?
Yeah. Well, you'll see when I put it up there, but the throat halyard on a gaff sail, as opposed to a Bermudian sail, which has 3 sides. Gaff sail has 4 sides, and on the top edge of the sail you have the gaff, and you need to lift kind of both ends of that gaff different amounts to balance it out and get it at just the right angle. So we have 2 halyards on a gaff sail, a throat that goes straight down the mast to the front top corner of the sail, and then a peak halyard which goes to that higher back top corner of the sail. The peak halyard's already on, and I've just finished up the blocks for the throat halyard, so we're gonna reeve them and hang them up right now.
Very good. Thanks, Bob. Let's see how they get reeved.
I'm going to work on these 2 blocks at the tops first.
This is my first week working on the boat with it being in the water. And I keep discovering things I need to bring down here. So.
Okay, I'll get you putting the staysail halyard block on, and then I'll land the drone.
Navary bookshelf make bars to hold books in place. We could talk about that real quick.
Yep.
Engine room hole is done. And then the clips we're waiting for. And the add LED is done.
Okay, so Bob's got the throat halyard up, which is great. That's one step closer to hoisting our mainsail, which actually might not be that far away. We have the sail now, and we're going to be bending it onto the spar hopefully pretty soon. So that's great. Nick and George are busy at work down here right now. George is painting a bulkhead. Lots of little bits and pieces happening here. Nick's fitting some doors in the forward locker. And things are feeling pretty good. It took a little while to get back the momentum after launch and our party and just everyone being pretty tired. But things are rolling now, and I'm hopeful that we're going to be able to get away this summer. The main thing that is worrying me is the capstan. It's a big, complex project. It's happening in various different places around the world, and we can't actually know if it's all going to work together until we get all the pieces here. So that does make me a bit nervous, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Other than that, feeling excited. All right. So a really important part of a sailboat is of course the sails, and we haven't talked a lot about sails yet for Tally Ho, but it's something that I've been working on for a long time, working on getting them designed and getting them made. In fact, it's been probably years at this point. Now, the process started with looking at Albert Strange's original sail plan and looking at various photos of the boat from the early years, because we were trying to replicate the rig from 1927, which was the rig that she had when she won the Fastnet race. And we have that beautiful photo of her with that rig under full sail. So a lot of design and thought and troubleshooting went into trying to replicate that rig as closely as we could. And then we started working with some professional sail designers to get the right shape in the sails and all the panel widths and so on. And then eventually those designs went to sail makers who started cutting cloth and making the sails. Now I've actually ended up working with two different sail lofts, one in the UK and one here in the US, very locally. And I'm not quite sure exactly how that happened, except that they're both really cool lofts and they both wanted to work with me and I wanted to work with both of them. So it's ended up with this really interesting and cool sort of transatlantic collaboration, which seems really fitting to this project. And the loft in the UK is a very historic one, which seems relevant, and the loft here is a very local one, which also seems relevant. So the sail loft here is making all of Tally Ho's headsails. Those are all the sails in front of the mast. And we're going to talk a lot more about them and their process and their sails later on. But this episode, we're going to talk more about the sailmaker in the UK. And they are making all of Tally Ho's sails that are after the mast, so the mainsail and two different topsails. And they are, in fact, the oldest sailmaker in the world, Ratsey and Lapthorne. And really, really happy to be working with them. They've been making beautiful, high-quality sails for a really long time. And they've made Tally Ho's main and topsails. Now, obviously, a huge amount of skill and knowledge and technique goes into sailmaking. I'm obviously not an expert, but I am hoping that we're going to get to dive more into those subjects later on. But for now, we're going to go to England and we're going to visit the Ratsey and Lapthorne sail loft.
Hi, I'm Jim Hartley. I'm the CEO of Ratsey and Lapthorne Sailmakers. We're based here on the Isle of Wight in Cowes. We're a traditional sailmakers. We make sails for traditional and classic boats. We're actually the oldest sailmaker in the world, founded in 1790 here in Cowes, and we've been continuously making sails here ever since. Ratsey's has always been at the sort of forefront for sail types, for sail construction. We suited America's Cup yachts for over 100 years, both the British Challengers and the American Defenders, because they were all won in those days by the Americans. And so we've got a sort of extraordinary history and connection to these wonderful classic boats. Tally Ho is a project we're absolutely thrilled to be involved with. We're doing it as a cross-pond collaboration, and that's presented us with quite a lot of challenges because we've got to make sure that the sails that we're building here in Cowes are true and feel at one as a whole project with the team that are led by Sean over in the States. And so we've had the cloth has been supplied by Contender, and it's come to both of our lofts. So we made sure that the shade, the color batch is exactly the same. And then likewise, we've sent over various hardware and leather and things like that. So the sails will all look and feel like one complete project, but actually it's been quite fun to make this a cross-pond collaboration, which is kind of how Tally Ho is as a project. Right, this is Matt Robinson.
Hello.
Matt's been working on the Tally Ho sails, and Matt's been working here for how long have you been with us, Matt?
7 or 8 years now.
7 or 8 years, and Matt learnt his craft from his master, who taught him as an apprentice, which is effectively how the business has run and has run since we were first founded. This is the clue from the topsail on Tally Ho. Why don't you just explain a little bit about the
so
workmanship
here,
there?
if we flip it over, you can see the traditional patching. So these are called tongues and wides. So the tongue is the patch that follows the mitre seam, or the last, as it's the last seam sewn on the sail. And then we've got the wides here, which are the arms that support the leech in the foot. And then traditionally, all the hardware will be sewn on the opposite side of the patching. So we've got a 12mm rope that is hand stitched all the way along the edge, following the length of the arms. And where they taper off, we also tape the rope. This is called a rat tail, which involves undoing the strands, scraping them down with a knife, and then twining them back up using beeswax, just to taper out that strain that's going to go on this clue. We then have a hand sewn ring, which is made of brass with a brass liner. We have our webbings, which are covered in the same material as the sailcloth, which just keeps the aesthetics going through. And then finally, to finish off, we have Helvetia leather, which is a good type of strong, durable leather, which when the salt water hits it, it's not going to start corroding. And then all that's going to do is act as a chafe patch on this rope once you've got the ropes in there pulling on this corner. And that's the clue for the topsail for Tally Ho.
I thought it was interesting to put it alongside this section here. This is a historical piece, which is actually the head from a schooner called Crail. She's a 214-foot three-masted schooner from 1927. So this was a piece that was made, I'm going to say, probably in the round about 1930, 1935 from Egyptian cotton. It was made here at Ratsey Lapthorne as a showpiece to show off the workmanship. But it's extraordinary when you look at how much sailcloth, or in this case canvas cotton, goes into this head. There's actually 17 layers there of 24-ounce cotton. But the interesting thing is, essentially, the clue corner that Matt's just shown you is in essence exactly the same construction as has always been done here, with the leather around the outside, the handwork ring, effectively the diamond stitch webbings. We use webbings these days, but the diamond stitch reinforcing is interesting that it's exactly the same type of construction that's always been the case.
Come close.
Come here.
So this very exciting, big, mysterious box arrived today. It's not that mysterious because I know it's from Ratsey and Lapthorne sailmakers in the UK, and it's got some sails in.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Look at that.
Working topsail.
Yeah, bud.
I'm not going to take it any further out of its bag right now because I don't want to get it dirty. But it looks beautiful. It's really exciting. I can't wait to unroll it and see these properly and get them on the boat. Thanks, Ratsey.
How come that one's bigger than the other ones?
This is the main sail, otherwise known as the big sail. Hey, Matt.
Alright, nobody help him. Oh my god.
I got it, guys. Don't worry.
Oh, look who came in to give a hand.
This is, I'm sending it.
Well, it's low tide here in Port Townsend.
So today we're going to be bending the mainsail onto the spars, which is really exciting. I haven't seen the mainsail yet. It's in the bag still. It's come all the way from England, from Ratsey Lapthorne. I'm sure it's beautiful. And we're putting it on today really just to check all the measurements, take some other measurements for covers. But it's not too far away now that we might be able to actually motor out and get a couple of sails up. So looking forward to that. You want to take it off like a pair of pants?
No, I'm a normal guy. Put my pants on like everyone else.
Is that camera then?
That's
Probably for shipping.
Might just be for shipping, yeah. Get a good whiff of that English air that's wrapped up in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, God. Is that clotted cream I smell? On the paddock?
And this is why I have to put music over everything.
God, it smells like Leo.
Wow, dude! Ah!
Oh my god!
It's quite large.
Alright, that's good. That's where we want it. Should we?
And then we'll go up, turn it around like that.
You're my heroes, yo. Yeah.
We ready to haul?
I believe so. Just looking good ahead of you a little bit.
Okay. That's the coolest freaking thing ever.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wow.
Well, it's pretty amazing to see a sail on Tally Ho's spars, and when it was up, it was just fantastic. We were all blown away. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing. I'd like to say a big thank you to Ratsey and Lapthorne for being involved with this project and making us such a beautiful mainsail. I'm really happy with it. And of course, they also made 2 topsails, which we haven't tried either of them yet. And then eventually, of course, I'm really excited to one day go out and fill them with wind and get this boat moving. But there is a lot to do before then. It does feel like things are happening really quickly now, but there's still so much to do before we can think about actually going sailing this summer, which is the plan, is the goal, including some really big jobs like the capstan. We haven't even got that here yet, and a lot more testing and a lot of sea trials to come and that sort of thing. But very, very excited to be here, very excited to see canvas on the boat. So thanks for watching, and of course, as always, a massive thank you to everyone who has donated or otherwise supported this project. It does make a huge difference. It means we're able to keep on doing this work, and it means we're able to make and edit these videos. So I really, really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.